What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And you know what? I tried. I really did. This is The Seed of the Sacred Fig. I did watch this. I was provided a screener by Neon, and I reached out to Neon. That really helped me last year with a couple titles with audio description. This time they ghosted me, which was super fun. Um, but this film just doesn't have audio description. It just doesn't exist. I mean, it's been released theatrically without audio description. My screener doesn't have it. I waited. I'm also an independent spirit voter, and it's not on the portal for that. So at a certain point, I have to say it just doesn't exist. Like, they just never recorded audio description for this movie. So, well, here's my review. Um, and tragically, it's a film that I really wanted to get into. Like, that's the thing that sucks, is when you have somebody that is curating your content for you based on what's accessible and what's not. It's like you always see the things that you want to see, that you're interested in, like films that you're like, oh man, that sounds like a great movie, and you're like, oh, it doesn't have audio description. Fuck. Like, that's my constant life. And that's so many people's lives. And I talk to so many people who are blind online who have so many negative experiences that they either watch like old movies, they don't even bother, they don't even know what's in 2024. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't go to the theaters because their equipment doesn't work. They have negative experiences. Like, theater owners don't understand what it's like to have broken ass equipment, and then like the work that it takes for blind people to get there, and then you just give them passes to come back another time. It's like, well, that's not really the same thing if the equipment is still going to be broken every time we come. You're not really compensating people for their travel. Like the whole thing to get there. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot more than that. So um and it turns people off, and that's why I'm here, is to try to change that, so that maybe one day a film like Seed of the Sacred Fig will actually have audio description. Now, to be fair, since losing my vision, I have seen at least one Iranian film that had audio description. It was Amazon putting audio description on The Hero from a couple years ago, which I did really enjoy. Not my favorite Iranian film, but before I lost my vision, I had an opportunity to watch A Separation, which is a beautiful film. And if you have any preconceived notions about what Iranian filmmaking is like, I really encourage you, if you're excited, to check out A Separation. I do not believe it has audio description. It's a fantastic film. Um, just to anyone, I mean, on any culture, it's just a great film. It just is. It's it's a classic. I think it's still on IMDb's top 250. So, but that is one of my favorite international films of all time. So I was looking to Mohamed Rasulah's See the Sacred Fig, especially when it premiered at Cannes, and it had all this buzz, and he had to leave Iran. Like, if he goes back to Iran, he gets arrested or killed or whatever. Like, he can't. This film isn't being submitted by Iran, it's being submitted by Germany for the international Oscar. So he's now a man without a country. And it directly addresses the problems of Iran and its country through its look at the lack of Western ideology, and maybe how Iran should have some of it, and it doesn't, and sort of the realistic look of where the country is, where its politics are, how the people in the discourse among the people, and it's all shared sort of through this family. Now, I didn't get any of that through the movie because the movie's entirely not in the English language. So this is one of those cases where, yet again, I watched another international film as presented to me without audio description. Not everyone can read the subtitles. And that's true of people who have more vision than me. There are some people who literally just can't see the subtitles because their vision is too poor, which is why audio description is nice, because it would also help solve that problem. So for people who have just low vision, and can get around better than me, or even who don't even walk without a cane or whatever, people who just can't read subtitles, like, there's such a barrier here. And when you're trying to convince the rest of the world, um, about your point of view when you're trying to bring everybody else in and be like, uh, look at what we have here. There's so many of these films that are doing that, that are trying to shine a light on something, but they're only doing it for sighted people because there's no audio description. So I can't join in on the conversation and be as upset or angry or affected by any of these movies because they're not accessible to me. So everything that I get is secondhand through other people. It's their opinion of the film. It's how they took the film. It's how they perceived the film. And that's fucking terrible to have that be your only way of experiencing a movie is vicariously through listening to other people experience it. It's like not going to Disney World, but listening to your friend tell you all about it. And then you're like, I really want to go to Disney World, but you can't, you know? And your friend is just like, oh my God, Disney World is amazing. I went on like all the rides. Mickey and I are like best friends now. And you're like, but I want to go. How can I? No, you can't go. Oh, damn. um, or the converse experience of that, where it's like you really want to go to Disney, and then you meet somebody who went to Disney, and they're like, I hated Disney. It was fucking terrible, man. Don't ever go there. Just to burn the place down. And it's something that's like your only perspective on the thing that you can't do, that you can't go to see and experience for yourself. So there's two sides to that coin. Is suddenly that's your opinion because you can't form your own thought because you're being prevented from doing so. So that's what's happening consistently with every single time a studio fails to provide accessibility, not just on international titles, but on English titles, is that generally our opinions are formed for us for other films. Should we choose to watch it, sometimes they are hard to follow, hard to understand, but oftentimes we just have to listen to other people talk about these films and not really experiencing them for themselves. I experience as I put this in. It's a long movie, um, and it's got a really nice score to it. It has some moments where it seems like the action picks up and it kind of gets into like a thriller moment. Feels like we're getting like some action going on. I clearly heard a scene that sounded like they were at like a restaurant or they were dining out somewhere. So like I could hear the sound effects and everything. Yes, it's pretty easy to do this stuff. It's called multitasking. Usually when I can't hear something, it gives me a great time to work on something else. I need to clean something, you know? I mean, I watch too many movies. I have to have time to be able to, so international films in some ways, that's when I use the time to do it. I'm not totally insane. I don't just sit there for 3 hours in a chair, sitting to people not talking in English and being like, this is amazing. I have no idea what's going on. No, I generally do something else while I'm doing it. But so do a lot of people. Think about it. I mean, you put on a lot of movies and then you're doing something else while the movie's on. So, but it's enough for me to be able to experience the film since I can't follow the dialogue anyway. So, I would have loved to. I would love to see this, but unfortunately my grade for Seated Sacred Fig is unwatchable due to lack of accessibility. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.